Fossil fuels are essential to economy. David Banks, a retired energy industry communicator with experience in the oil, gas, and coal industries, now lives in Rockingham County. Banks, a retired energy industry communicator with experience in the oil, gas, and coal industries, now lives in Rockingham County. Not too long ago, I wrote to the president of my university about the folly of the school's decision to alter its investment portfolio by divesting from stocks in the fossil fuel industry. My letter also included a pledge to end my contributions to the institution. I have no way to know how many others might have felt the same way, but the intense campaign to stir feelings of guilt about the use of fossil fuels, directly or indirectly, is misguided and should be resisted. Regrettably, the divestment campaign has developed strong legs and is gaining supporters. It is driven primarily by those who maintain that fossil fuel producers and consumers are the principal cause of environmental problems. The organizers are using their resources to target state and municipal pension funds, university endowments, and faith-based institutions. Here in Virginia and elsewhere around the country, the campaign to damage oil, gas, and coal companies is heating up, premised on the notion that most, if not all, fossil fuels should remain locked up underground to make way for wind and solar energy. The University of Mary Washington Foundation, at the request of the school's president, was the first institution of higher learning in Virginia to adopt a policy of divestment. Activists, students, and in some cases faculty as well, at other schools, including UVA and Virginia Tech, have been aggressively stirring the pot. Not long ago, the mayor of New York City announced that $5 billion in pension funds will be divested from fossil fuel stocks. Other cities have joined the movement. San Francisco, Oakland, and Berkeley in California, as well as Madison, Wisconsin, and Boulder, Colorado. Reports indicate that some 500,000 people, including celebrities such as Leonardo DiCaprio and Bianca Jagger, and nearly 700 institutions worldwide with $2.6 trillion in assets, have pledged to divest from fossil fuel stocks. Here's the problem. Fossil fuels are essential, not luxuries that can be shunted aside. The U.S. Energy Information Administration, EIA, reports that oil, gas, and coal account for 80% of the country's energy supply and will continue to do so far into the future. Renewable energy contributes only marginally. Wind and solar, for example, meet a shade over 3% of the country's energy needs. Fossil fuels are also critical to advancing the well-being of millions of people in developing countries where electricity, potable water, and sanitation remain the most needed basic services. Beyond oil and natural gas being energy sources, they also are the essential resources from which many thousands of products are produced, from everyday consumer products to critical medicines. Wind and solar can't substitute. So a concerted attack on fossil fuels is, in fact, an attack on businesses that significantly undergird the national economy and remain a source of hope elsewhere around the globe. Moreover, the United States is advancing, not backsliding, with respect to carbon emission reductions. According to the EIA, they are at their lowest in about a quarter century, reflecting the largest reduction in carbon emissions of any country around the globe, due in large part to increased use of natural gas in electric power generation. Advances in technology, hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling, for example, have made possible large increases in natural gas and oil production, which improve the country's energy security and help moderate energy costs. Scientists, meanwhile, are trying to find ways to limit carbon emissions and even make beneficial use of them. At the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, researchers believe they can convert carbon emissions from power plants into petrochemicals and plastics. Efforts to punish companies that produce or use fossil fuels can have the perverse effect of punishing not just workers, both active and pension holders, but anyone else who has an IRA 401k plan, or other investments for their retirement years. A case in point, divestment would cost the San Francisco Employees Retirement System $11.5 million annually and up to $150 billion over 50 years, according to an analysis of the largest pension funds in the country. Energy producing companies and myriad industries that use raw energy as inputs for their products have been great technology innovators and problem solvers. Their contributions have led to reductions in carbon emissions. Better the nation benefit from a climate of cooperation to continue on that path, rather than support a campaign whose aim is to do damage to the economy.